Hey, so welcome to the new 9MWR package, mate. I'll do a walk around for you to show you the little features. Very similar to your 8MCR with some wheels instead of tracks this time. So, tilt rotator, same old. Got the integrated grab, grading bucket, 600 with teeth, 450 with teeth. This is your head plate for the 4-in-1 bucket. And then behind there is the teeth for the vulture. Couplings at the front, that's for your main auxiliary circuit. The main extra circuit. The second extra circuit's used for this. So you've got couplings there. You've got EC oil, detachable, same as the other setup. Fantastic. Coming up, so case train line. This is your main supply line. So this is the auxiliary one. Tees off for the tilt rotator, but we can also use it to plug attachments into as well. I'll show you the button to control that in the cab in a sec. Second auxiliary circuit. And then on this side, first circuit, second circuit. So on your mulcher, you've got your main circuit, and then you've got your door control on that, and it's just on the rollers. We'll show you that in a sec. You've got the QS light. So coming down, got a trailer plug for your indicators and lights on a trailer. The hitch, so 50mm ball and ring feeder hitch. Emergency stop. This is the valve for the Engcon joystick steering. Option, radiator, overflow bottle. You got this little lip here on the bonnet you can use to pull it down, and then you got the latch. In here, we've got your operator's manuals, additional parts that come with the Engcon install, flashing light, etc. So that's all in this big toolbox on the side. Rear stabilizers. Travel alarm is up there. You've got your rear work light and your rear view camera. There's also a side camera on this machine, which is there. So I'll show you how to switch between those two. Come into the engine bay. Batteries at the back here. Then you've got your lockable battery isolator, air filter, engine oil filter there, engine oil dipstick. No DPF or AdBlue on this machine. So come around the side. You've got your diesel filler cap there. Do not lose the keys, because if you lose the keys and that's locked, it's coded, you literally have to cut this filler off and weld another one on, or break it off. So they're a coded key. You get two keys, so make sure you put one of them somewhere safe. In here, you've got these are just the covers for the Engcon for the EC oil block, and then you've got a remote filling pump. So you just drip that end into your jerry can and fill her up. So I'll come into the cab now. Firstly, the site spec stuff, so emergency stop, UHF, and then a fire extinguisher in the back. This is your DC2 controller. So from the seated view here, this is your additional boom pedal. This is your brake. So to release the brake, you just push that latch up and it comes off. And to put it on, you just push it down and it latches on. So that's like your park brake. This is also your brake for when you're moving around. This is your foot throttle. Now you've got on the steering wheel, you've got indicators, horn, etc. Hazard lights around here. This is your wheel control. So you've got 4-wheel steering, 2-wheel steering, or crab mode. And then on this side, you've got the oscillation lock. So always unlocked, automatic, and then locked. So automatic, when you've got this park brake on, like this, and it latches in, the oscillation lock will be locked. So it's as if you come up to your hole, you put your brake on, you start digging, or easy. When you disconnect it, the oscillation lock comes off. So that's fantastic, but you can choose what to do there. Coming across to this side, you got your top hitch control switch. You've got your Engcon hitch control switch, same as your existing machine. So you hold this in and down, hold in the pinky button there, and then use the slide switch to release the hitch on the bottom of the tilt rotator. Boom control button, so that controls the dipper stick and the middle cylinder together. When you've got it in this mode, underneath here, this button, this is your boom button. So you can hold that button in, and now when you use this joystick, only the middle cylinder will work. When you release this button, so finger off it, then only the rear cylinder will work. So that helps for positioning when you're in close, especially with the tilt rotator to go up high in close. Great for lifting. If you put it across into manual mode, then you can use this foot pedal for the middle piece, and that does your main boom and that does your dipper stick. I like using it in that mode with this button. It's a great feature. We've got the bucket reverse switch, so if you're running a skid bucket or you're running an excavator bucket backwards, this will fill back to front just because of geometry, so then you just hit that switch and it switches it for you. This is the driving inversion switch. So if you're driving with the blade at the front like now, we're in this position. When you steer left, we go left. If you turn around and face the other direction, of course when you steer left, you're going to be going right, so you can just hit this switch and then that will reverse it so that it feels normal for you. This is your hitch alarm override, so you can hold that down to turn the hitch alarm off, and then this is to activate your steering joystick steering from EngCon. So this roller underneath here, so when you use it backwards and forth, it'll turn the steering. I'll show you that in a minute. But each time you turn the machine on, you just have to activate it by pressing that switch. And then coming over to this side, we've got our park mode, and then you've got your digging mode, and then your road mode. In road mode, the joysticks are isolated, so it's safe when you're driving. Engine start stop, just remember if you use the engine start stop button like I've done just now, the aircon's still blowing, so if you're just parking the machine up for lunch and leave it like this for an hour, you're probably going to have a flat battery. So if you're getting out of the machine, turn the key off. Just something to keep in perspective. Blade, so this joystick up and down for the blade, so you press that button and you can see here on the screen we turn the blade on and off, and then you've got that rear two buttons, so you can turn on which functions you want to control, the rear stabilizers, the blade, whichever combination you want, you turn on, and then you just use it up and down. You've got your aircon control here. Little tip on the aircon control, sometimes you can leave the heat on a little bit, so when I come down, you just got to be sure. You see there, you got that little blue dot. That means that the heater tap is still open, so you're going to get a little bit of hot air. So just keep pressing that cool button here to make sure that you're all the way down. And then you've got your fan control. Beautiful. Radio here, that's got the microphone for your phone. And then you've got your keypad here for this screen. So press the menu button. You can come in and change your auxiliary flows. So we come into this one, we got it set up on the mulcher at the moment, and you can set up whichever settings you like on it. Then to read your error codes, if you get any, you scroll around to this one, press down on the knob once, press down on the knob twice, and then any error codes will come up on this screen. Other things in here you can come into settings, you can set time, brightness, etc. So let's just, for example, we'll come to brightness, and let's turn the brightness up a little bit better in the sun. There we go. Cool. So that's everything there. Radio. Up on this panel here, you've got the auto idle, so you can turn that on and off. Windscreen wipers, lights, boom lockout, flashing beacon. You can turn the travel alarm on and off. Continuous flow switch, so if you're running the mulcher, you can press that button once and it'll hold the mulcher on for you. This is a cruise control, so you can set the cruise control, and then you've got a cigarette lighter point there, cup holder, and then a heap of air vents. So in using the machine, I'll show you a few of the functions. So joystick back is your boom, of course. Left and right is your bucket circuit. This is your dipper stick circuit, and you can see the dipper stick and the middle cylinder are going together. That's because we're in this automatic mode. Remembering when I hold this button down underneath, so this one on your machine, we now isolate only to that cylinder, and as I'm holding it down, if I use this joystick, only the dipper stick moves. So that's a good way of being able to bring this bucket all the way in, and then I release the button under here with my finger off it, and then I revert straight back to that. So you can manually control all three without having to use the foot pedal. It's good if your foot is busy on other things. So for the EngCon functions, the FNR switch here is the most important one to remember. So if you've got, so that's forwards, neutral, reverse. If you've got it in forwards or neutral, you won't be able to start the machine. So forward, that's in forwards. If I go to start the machine, not having a bar of it. So I need to make sure that I'm in neutral, and then perfect. So remember that one. If you can't start the machine, it's probably that to start with. Then our functions. We've got up here, the speed says max. So it's currently set up for being in manual gearbox selection. So if you press this button, you see it'll go back to 10. That'll force it to go to first gear. So first gear for 10. If you then get out on the road and you want to go faster, press this button, it'll change it into second gear and off you go. And then when you get back on site, go back to 10. 10's quite fast on site, but it'll keep you in first gear so that it's not just changing on you. And then you've got your oscillation lock. So this is similar to what this does here. This does the same thing, but it's on the joystick. So you can leave it set to unlock, and then we can manually, if you have a look at the screen here, as I press that button, the lock comes on. So you can manually lock it yourself. So if you start to tip, you go, oh shit, press the button, there you go. This up here is your tilt like usual. They're unused buttons. And then underneath here, this bottom one here, this does your integrated grab. And then if I activate the joystick steering like that, then the top one under here is what does your steering. So that's just going back and forth on that. Just remember, every time you turn the machine on, you got to reactivate it, and you can see that it's activated because the light's on. Sweet. Over this side, so you've got an FNR switch here, but this FNR switch is used to control the second auxiliary circuit. So at the moment you got your offset working, you put it into the other switch, it'll then have that second, you can see it up there, the second auxiliary circuit. So that's good for your mulcher door, so make sure you remember that. Then you've got that extra one, which are those couplings at the front of the tilt rotator, those blue ones. That's how you control them. You don't currently have anything set up for that, but you might do in the future. And then this is your rotate. And then other buttons which are programmable in the screen here. You got your horn, you can change which camera you're viewing by pressing this button, and then you can assign something else to the other buttons. Okay, that's pretty much it for the controls. So the best tips for it is for sure make sure that the oscillation lock is off when you're traveling on undulating ground, otherwise you can pick a wheel up, but then make sure the lock's on when you're lifting. Big difference when you're lifting with the lock on and the lock off. And then yeah, just get used to that boom control button. That seems to be the best feature for controlling the boom. Apart from that, the rest of it's very similar to the 8MCR. Alright, thanks mate, hope it helps.